Today we're looking at a historic shift in American political landscape. According to the latest Fox News polling for 2026, we have just witnessed the first major favorability crossover since April 2014. For the first time in over a decade, the Republican Party is rated more favorably than the Democratic Party. But make no mistake, this isn't because the GOP has suddenly become overwhelmingly popular. It is because the Democratic brand has fallen significantly further. Let's break down the raw numbers. The erosion of the Democratic brand is not an anomaly. It is a consistent trend across the board when we look at 6 independent pollsters, including YouGov, Civics, and 50 Plus One. The party is underwater in nearly every major poll since mid-2024. The devastating blow comes from the CNN poll in March 2026, which puts the Democratic favorability at a historic low of just 28%. This is structural damage that goes away beyond typical midterm friction. The core engine of the crisis is a major class fracture within the electorate. The 2026 New York Times Siena poll reveals an astonishing 50-point gap in the net two-party margin among white voters based purely on education. To put that into perspective, that is nearly double the class gap we saw in 2022 and 2024. Data from the AP Votecast tracks this collapse perfectly. The Democratic share of non-college educated voters has dropped from 47% in 2020 down to just 43%. The working class is actively leaving the coalition. Historically, economic pain falls hardest on the governing party, and 2026 is providing severe headwinds. Look at the 3 macroeconomic indicators that voters traditionally punish incumbents for. First, of course, the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index hit a record low of 48.2 in early May. Second, one-year inflation expectations remain stubbornly trapped between 4.5% and 4.8%, well above the Fed target. Finally, the Conference Board Consumer Confidence Index dropped another 0.7 points month over month. The electorate feels squeezed, and the data shows they're blaming the establishment. Compounding the economic issue is a severe ideological mismatch within the party itself. According to a Manhattan Institute poll of over 2,500 voters, the majority of the Democratic coalition, 52%, is actually moderate. However, this majority is constantly being nudged by a primary electorate that leans progressive. CBS News data from March confirms this tension, showing that the rank and file still tilts towards progressive primary candidates over moderates. The party is trapped in a civil war, trying to satisfy a progressive base while rapidly losing the moderate swing voters needed to win. Even in the national environment shifts, the data shows the GOP hold a powerful structural insurance policy. First, of course, you have the redistricting led by Texas, following by Supreme Court's ruling in Louisiana v. Kelly has shifted the 14 House seats onto more Republican-friendly maps across states like Texas, Louisiana, Ohio, and Alabama. Second, looking at the Senate tracker, the GOP is mathematically poised for a 53 to 47 majority. For Democrats to flip the script, they need the net gain of 4 seats on a map that includes working-class heavy states like Michigan, Ohio, which, as we showed earlier, is exactly where their coalition is now at the weakest. The data is clear, and the establishment is facing a severe reality check. And the structural fundamentals are favoring the major realignment. We'll continue to track every single polling shift, every single week, all the way to November. If you value data-driven, realistic political analysis, hit that subscribe button right now. Join our community, turn on notifications, and let me know your thoughts on these numbers in the comments down below. See you in the next.